Okay, this is a Vlogmas Extra, and the reason I'm doing this, if you saw the last one, you saw that we are kind of having some weather, and I can't guarantee I'll have internet access tomorrow. So this might become Vlogmas 10, in case you were counting. So the point, what I thought I would talk about is to, first of all, sort of get over how I look. Oh, so vain, but that's what I get for doing this right out of the shower. Anyway, and for sitting at a weird angle. To the point. The point is, what's going on as far as how I pick what goes up on this channel. Because I do get questions sometimes that I don't necessarily think are appropriate. I mean, the big one is that my son keeps telling me he wants me to do a video about what it's like to parent an autistic child. And, well, I could talk about what it's like to parent as a person who is avoidant, what it's like to parent an autistic child, and what it's like to parent an autistic child as a person with avoidant personality disorder. And it would probably take like a year to go through everything. I don't think it would be a short little video. I also don't think, you know, I mean, he's underage and he thinks this is great, and I think it's really wonderful that he is open about it. That doesn't mean he's going to always be open about it, and sometimes I already talk about him too much. Anyway, and then other requests I get that are, you know, also not specific to what I talk about. I try to talk very much sort of tightly about avoidant personality disorder and my experiences. So because of that, I mean, I can talk about other personality disorders that I have experienced, like firsthand, actual people. So I have experienced in real life borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and antisocial personality disorder. And you take what you see online as a grain of salt. Anything else, really, I have not directly experienced it, so I don't think I should talk about it. Make sense? I do talk about stories that other people have told me, and periodically get informed that that's not cool. I also put up videos and take them down pretty regularly. I mean, there's only like 250 videos altogether, and obviously you can't see them all because I take them down again. And I went through a period actually this year where I almost deleted the whole channel. I was like taking everything down, and basically hypercritical and had no perspective whatsoever, and lost the thread sort of what I was doing here. The point is not to put myself into like the best sort of, you know, put my best foot forward. I mean, obviously, you know, but is rather to educate people as best I know how, and to give actual perspective, because again, doctors, I don't really know, and you can't really trust what you see online, because there's all these the term is Google Avi, somebody who puts in the list of descriptions and thinks that they're avoidant, or they see the name avoidant and think, oh, well, I avoid things, therefore I'm avoidant. That's not really what the personality disorder is about. That's sort of the effect. The effect of having a personality disorder is that then you avoid people. That's not the root cause by any means. So one of my goals, even though it makes me cringe to say the least, I think it's really obvious. I don't watch these videos before I put them up, because sometimes you get some extreme issues with either it's way bumpy or you can't hear it or anything like that. It's just like, I'm like, do it, get it out, get it out, get it out, or else if I look back at them, I'm like, oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand looking at myself. Can't stand hearing myself. Can't stand it all. I can't put it up. So it's going to be difficult, but I'm going to go through those videos that I pulled down to really see if it's accurate. I mean, again, if, sometimes I say things that I really shouldn't have said, those should stay down. Sometimes it's comments that I've gotten that are triggering, and if that's the case, then whatever, I can delete the comments, and put it back up. But basically, I need to get over myself and look at those and really stop being so, stop taking it personally. Because, people in the real world don't know me, don't know these videos, except my son. But he's never actually seen any of them either. He just knows they're there, but he's like, yeah, you want to know what Mom's talking about? So he actually has never seen them other than that. Nobody knows I make these things. So, it is, even though you're seeing my face and hearing what I'm talking about and hearing my, what's going on in my life, it is anonymous, really. And that's also why I'm very protective of trying to make sure nobody tracks down where I am in the world. And that's, like, super common. Like, are you here? Are you there? I'm like, I can't tell you because that's not cool. So, anyway, yeah, for, as far as comments, like for example, when I went through the DSM, which I can't diagnose, but when I really broke it down and said, hey, this is what they're talking about, this is not a subtle thing, this is huge, etc., and went through it, I mean, by far, I got, like, the worst feedback on that set of videos, because, it was educating people and busting their bubble, basically, which, I don't know why people want this. Seriously, it's the people who want this diagnosis, I mean, that's proof, it's proof they don't have it, because nobody would want this. Nobody, I think the only reason why people would want this is to excuse their bad behavior so they can continue to have bad behavior, or as an excuse to not do anything and not make any changes. I mean, there are people that are really into the labels, and it's like, I'm part of a group because I've got this diagnosis. Like I said, I've been, I read forums. Try not to participate. Try hard not to participate because they are, I mean, they're good people on the forums. They're more really, really incredibly inappropriate people on the forums. And, like this week, there was one forum where this person was like, oh, I am this, I know I am this, I am this, and put, like, I don't know, 15 messages in a row, and was absolutely blasting the people with diagnosis, saying, why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you talking to me? I want you to talk to me. Tell me, talk to you. And it's like, wait a minute. If you were avoidant, actually, then you would know that that's not possible for them to do. And actually, in that case specifically, it looked, as an outsider, like pretty clear cut case of just someone with straight up depression. That, because I mean, that I avoid people because I'm depressed, not because I have this condition. It's like, why do you want to say that you have this when you don't? Anyway, I'm getting off target again. But again, yeah, those are helpful to people. for them to really see, what aspects can affect them, and that's also why I try to talk about things that I don't experience directly myself. And which, on the one hand, it's not really good, but on the other hand, I mean, that's kind of narcissistic to say my experience with this condition is the universal experience for everybody, and I don't think that's accurate. But so if I can see something and understand and really get, okay, yes, as an avoidant person, I completely understand why and how you're doing that. I don't do that, but I can totally get that, and I try to pass it on, because somebody else might have a totally different experience. I mean, again, it's not avoiding people. It's not like something with agoraphobia. That's not what avoidant personality disorder is. If you don't like people and you don't want to be around people, it's probably more schizoid, because that's the thing. Everybody who's avoidant really wishes they were capable of having better relationships than they are capable of, because they have such low self-esteem. They don't think they're worthy of it. Yeah, and to have people suddenly show up in your life, and it's unbelievably overwhelming, and the immediate response is to run away from them and to mistrust them, because if they had a clue, they know that we're not worthy. I'm not worthy. Anyway, so yeah, so this is the bonus explaining what and how I put on this site that is pretty specific, sticking to avoidant personality disorder, and I also really try to, if I bring up a problem, to come up with a solution. It might not be the best solution, it might not be the only solution, but at least something, so it's not like so totally grim. But this was the so this is the extra, in case I lose power. I'll just rename it. Yeah, that's what it's about. Bye.